Let me tell you about the night my brain betrayed every rule of physics I thought I knew. I was sitting in a packed movie theater, surrounded by rustling popcorn bags, chattering strangers, and trailers blasting at full volume. And somewhere in that chaos, I heard a faint whisper of my name, one word cutting through everything. To this day, I find it amazing and curious. How could I possibly have heard my name in that wall of sound? I wasn't listening for it. I wasn't expecting it. Yet my ears, or really my brain, snapped to attention like a guard dog hearing a footstep. That tiny moment haunts me. Now, most videos about this topic give you the same tired story. They mention a cocktail party, they say the brain filters sound, they pat you on the head, and they leave. That's lazy. That's boring. I want to actually crack this open and show you the strange machinery humming underneath your skull. Here's the bold claim. Your brain is never actually ignoring the noise around you, not even close. It is secretly listening to every single conversation in that room, scanning them all in parallel, and only shoving one into your awareness. You think you're focused. You're actually eavesdropping on everyone. Scientists call this the cocktail party effect, but the name undersells how wild it is. Imagine standing in a stadium where 40,000 people speak at once. Your conscious mind hears a blur, but underneath, a hidden system is quietly tagging words, voices, and meaning from conversations you swear you never noticed. Let's start with the ears themselves. Sound hits your eardrum and gets converted into electrical signals deep inside a snail-shaped organ called the cochlea. This organ doesn't just hear loudness, it splits sound into thousands of tiny frequency channels, like a piano with thousands of keys lighting up at once. Here's the part people skip. Your brain doesn't passively receive sound, it actively sculpts it. There are nerve fibers running backward, from the brain down into the ear, tuning and adjusting what gets amplified. Your brain is literally reaching into your ears and turning up the volume on things it cares about. Now picture all that incoming sound flooding into a relay station called the auditory cortex. This is where the real party happens. Different patches of neurons fire for different sounds, voices, rhythms, and pitches. The whole thing lights up like a city skyline, processing dozens of streams at the very same moment. So why don't you consciously hear all of it? Because awareness is expensive. Your brain has limited spotlight to spend, so it picks one conversation to illuminate and lets the rest fade into background hum. But fading does not mean deleted. Those background voices are still being decoded in the dark. Think of a security team watching 100 camera feeds. They focus hard on one screen, but a guard in the corner is still glancing at all the others. The moment something important flashes, that guard shouts and everyone spins around. Your brain runs that exact same operation constantly, and nothing flashes brighter than your own name. Your name is the single most rehearsed sound in your entire life. You've heard it millions of times, attached to attention, to consequences, to love, to danger, so your brain builds an almost permanent shortcut, a hair trigger alarm wired straight to that word. This is why your name slips through the filter when nothing else does. The background monitor decodes a stranger's whisper, recognizes the pattern of your name, and instantly fires an interrupt signal. It overrides whatever you were focused on. That's the jolt I felt in that dark theater seat. Let's go back to that theater for a second. The trailers were loud, the crowd was buzzing, my attention was nowhere near the whisper. Yet my name landed like a pebble in still water. The only explanation is that my brain was quietly scanning that entire room the whole time. Here is the contrarian twist most people miss. That whisper didn't break through because it was loud. It broke through because it was meaningful. Loudness is physics. Meaning is biology. And meaning, my friend, will beat raw volume almost every single time inside the human brain. Researchers proved this with headphone experiments. They played one story in your left ear and a different story in your right, and asked you to repeat just one. People could shadow that story perfectly while ignoring the other, but sneak their name into the ignored ear, and a third of them snapped right toward it. That result is staggering. It means the ignored ear was never truly ignored. The brain was processing that stream deeply enough to recognize a personal name buried inside it. The so-called background was being read like a book, page by page, even while you swore you weren't paying attention. Your brain also uses tricks to separate voices in the first place. It tracks pitch, rhythm, and even the tiny time gap between sound hitting your left and right ear. With two ears, it triangulates location, letting it grab one voice from a crowd like plucking a single thread from tangled yarn. This is why closing one eye barely matters, but cover one ear and the magic weakens. Two ears give your brain a stereo map of the room. It knows the whisper came from the left, 3 rows back, and can lock onto that spot before you even consciously turn your head. Now, here is something genuinely strange. People are more likely to hear their name when they're anxious, distracted, or have a wandering mind. The very brains that struggle to focus are the most easily hijacked by personal triggers. Your attention spotlight is leaky, and your name pours right through the cracks. There's an evolutionary logic baked into all of this. Imagine an ancestor sitting by a fire, surrounded by chatter. When someone across camp gasps a warning, the brain that could catch that one urgent word survived. The brain that tuned out everything became dinner. We inherited the paranoid, ever-listening model. So your name is basically a leftover survival flag. It marks you, your group, your identity. A brain that snaps to its own name is a brain that catches calls for help, warnings, and social signals instantly. That ancient wiring is exactly what fired inside me at that movie theater. But let's bust a myth. This system is not perfect, and it fools you constantly. Sometimes you hear your name when nobody said it. Your prediction machine is so eager to catch that word that it sometimes invents it from random noise. Your brain hallucinates your name into existence. That's because your brain doesn't just listen, it predicts. It constantly guesses what sound is coming next and matches incoming noise against that guess. When the guess includes your name, even a vague jumble of syllables can trip the alarm. You hear what your brain expected, not always what was spoken. This prediction trick explains so much. It's why a misheard whisper can sound exactly like your name. It's why a stranger saying a similar word makes you flinch. Your auditory system would rather raise a false alarm than miss a real one. Better safe than eaten, remember. Now combine everything. Thousands of frequencies, parallel processing, a leaky spotlight, a name-detecting shortcut, and a prediction engine. Stack those together, and you get a mind that monitors an entire noisy room while convincing you it heard nothing. That is the quiet genius hiding behind one whispered name. Here is how you can test this on yourself. Next time you're in a loud cafe, stop trying to focus. Just relax and let your ears drift. You'll suddenly catch random words from 3 tables over, words your brain had been quietly decoding the entire time without telling you. You can even hijack the system. Want to grab someone's attention in a crowded room? Don't shout louder, say their name. That one word slices through noise that no amount of volume could pierce, because you're hitting their personal alarm instead of fighting the physics of the room. And this is why advertisers, scammers, and apps obsess over personalization. The moment something feels addressed to you by name, your brain flags it as important and worth attention. That ancient survival shortcut is now being mined for clicks. Your name is the master key to your focus. So let's return one last time to that theater. I still find it amazing and curious that a whisper found me through all that noise. But now I see it differently. It wasn't a fluke. It was my brain doing exactly what it evolved over millions of years to do. You are never really alone in a crowd, and you are never really tuning the world out. Some silent part of you is always listening, always scanning, always waiting for one word. So next time your name slips through the noise, smile. That's your ancient guard dog still wide awake. If this rewired how you think about your own ears, do me one favor. Pay attention to the next time your name cuts through chaos, and remember the hidden machine that made it happen. Subscribe if you want more deep dives that refuse to give you the boring version. Click the links below for research papers on this topic. Click the next video now.